Hello YouTube, Sam here from youtube.com/onlifegamer for the New Boston, and in this tutorial we're going to be talking about class libraries. Now, when big companies work on an application in either Visual Basic or C# or other languages, they can't just give every person a big huge copy of the project file and make them go through and look and see what the program does and how it works. So what they do is they'll split that work up into a whole bunch of different people. Now, one person may write a class, another one may write another class, and then you have what's called class libraries. Now, it's basically a library of classes. It holds a bunch of classes that can be used in a program, and it's all encapsulated into a .dll file so that the person using it does not have to know what's inside of it or what it does. They should be able to just use it and see what everything does because you either used good names for your classes and functions and methods, or you commented them right. So you can create class libraries and use them in other projects, and you don't have to see what the code is, and you won't have to change anything in the code. It'll just work. So let's go ahead and make a new project. So we'll go ahead and instead of selecting a Windows Forms application, we will select a class library. And you can see that it says up here a project for creating a VB class library, which is a .dll. So we'll just call this enemies library. Now, if any of you have watched any of the New Boston's C++ tutorials, you may remember he made some tutorials about inheritance using enemies and villains and stuff. Now I'm going to be using that same concept in here. So in case you've already done that, it'll be familiar to you, and I feel that it's a good way to teach the class libraries, and we're going to be making a game out of it. So now that this is loaded, let's go ahead and we'll add, or we'll rename this right here to class1.vb. This is automatically generated by the class library project. We'll call it enemy.vb. And you can see that it changed this for us right here. Now I'll just zoom in some. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a constructor for this. So we'll just go ahead and set health equal to 100. Now, we haven't made the variable health yet, so let's go ahead and create a private variable called health. So we'll make it an integer, and we'll just leave it like that. Okay, so when an enemy is constructed, it's going to set their health equal to 100. Now what we want to do is let's make some stuff that the enemy can do. So we'll go ahead and do, let's see, sub attack, and then we will by ref user health as integer. So whenever they call attack, what it's going to do is it's going to require an integer to be passed in here, and it's going to reference it so it can change that integer. So let's go ahead and create a random generator so that we can randomly generate from a series of attacks. So we'll go ahead and type dim gen as new random. So now that we have our new random, let's go ahead and pick between a certain number of attacks. So gen.nextInt, or next, and what we want to use is the min value and then the max value. So the min value is going to be equal to 1, the max value is going to be equal to, let's leave it at 5 for now because we haven't thought of any attacks. Now let's set some default attacks for the enemy. So we'll come up here and we will create an array. So private attacks, and we'll just give it, let's say, 2. So 0 and 1, and we'll set it equal to, well, we don't need that right there. We'll set it equal to, let's say, punch and kick. So all of the enemies will have the ability to attack. Now let's just create this as default attack. Okay, so when they attack, we want to generate a random number between, let's say, 1, or we'll do 0 and 1. So it's going to pick between either 0 and 1. Then what we want to do is we want to set user health equal to something. Now we have to know what to set, or we have to know what to take away from user health. So let's do a select case. So we'll start off by typing select case, and we want to use the number that's generated right here. So what we can do is we can just cut this and paste it right there, so it's using that number. So let's see, looks like it's not wanting me to do that, so let's just create a variable. So dim attack num as integer, and we'll set it equal to this. Okay, so now we're going to use attack num. So select case attack num. Let's do case 0. So if the number is 0, which would correspond to punch in here because attacks at index 0, we want to just take away, let's say, 1 from health. So user health minus equals 1. So this way we don't have to know what user health is. We can just take away 1 from it. Then we'll do case 1, and then we'll just take away 2 for a kick. So user health minus equals 2. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, so now we have our default attack. Let's go ahead and let's just add one more property that will get our health. So we'll create a public read-only property so that they can only get the health. They can't change in it. They can't change anything in it. So let's just do health as integer. Now I can see that we have already declared health up here. So let's just call it int health so that we can refer to it in this class as int health. They won't be able to see it outside of this class, so if we use health for the property, it will make it easier for somebody else using our class library to know what's going on. So we'll just return int health. Okay, let's see here. Everything's looking good. Okay, so go ahead, create this project if you haven't already, and once you do that, type in this code, because we're going to be using this a lot in the upcoming tutorials. We're actually going to be making a game using this. You see here that I've got some enemies, and then our hero is going to be Popeye. So once you put this code in, go ahead, look over it, make sure you know what it does, and then once you've done that, go ahead and move on to the next tutorial, and we're going to continue working on it.